scrolling on TikTok and then I saw videos of Japanese men trying to depict the culture of Rastafarism. They were beating the nyabingi drums, they were singing, they had rastas, they had those colorful Rastafarian colors. And then I asked myself, why is it that everyone in the world loves Jamaica so much? Like, Jamaican culture has traveled thousands of miles, crossed oceans up to Japan. Then how did this happen? Then in my quest looking for answers, I came up with this story. I want us to listen. Let us watch, right? Listen to this story that I'm about to tell you. Like, it's crazy how Japanese people started to love Jamaican culture.
Yeah.
You like this? Footwork, bitch.
We heard there's a Japanese guy that lives there. Oh my god. Nihon no doko shushin desu ka? You're a very interesting person. I don't know any other Japanese person who moved to Africa.
Yeah, I know.
How many children do you have? 3. Genki desu ka?
Genki.
Genki. Okay. 好きな食べ物は何ですか？
全部好きやけど。
全部。Oh, okay. すごい。私も。He really speaks Japanese. It's amazing.
A Japanese woman won Jamaica's national dancehall queen in 2002 and half the Caribbean lost their minds. While the people in the diaspora were busy gatekeeping their culture on Twitter, debating who's black enough to wear locks, Japan quietly built the most dedicated reggae scene outside of Jamaica itself. We are talking about 50 years deep, vinyl collectors who owns records you never heard of, sound systems that beat Jamaican crews at their own game, and a whole spiritual movement around Rastafari. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask. When did appreciation become appropriation? And why are we more bothered by Japanese dreadlocks than the fact that we abandon our own culture first? I'm not talking about Jamaican stealing, Japanese Jamaican shine. I'm talking about something that is comforting and why strangers across the ocean respect the Jamaican heritage more than the Jamaicans themselves do. So stay with me, this story will change how you see cultural ownership forever. Let's watch these clips and then I will be back to discuss everything with you, my people.
Are you Rastafari?
Yeah, yes, I. From Japan?
From Japan?
Yes. My name is Atsushi. We come from Clarendon, you know. Yeah, but stay town, you know. Me and study to Jam, Bengi. You can find a teacher in my country, you know. Yeah, that's why me coming to, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Japanese Rastafari before.
No, all by elder there, you know.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Me study from them too, you know.
In Jamaica?
In Japan, in Jamaica
Japan
too.
too?
They visit to Jamaica too, you know.
Wow.
Yaman. Hey, ayanai re Rastafari.
You know what's what? Right now in Yokohama, there is a reggae festival bigger than most Caribbean street parties. In Tokyo, there are teenagers who can tell you the difference between Studio One and Treasure Isle recordings better than your uncle who claims he grew up on reggae. And somewhere in Japan, there is a middle-aged salaryman with a Rastafari altar in his apartment who has never set foot in Jamaica. This is the story nobody in the African and Caribbean diaspora wants to talk about. How Japan became one of the world's most important guardians of Jamaican culture, and why that should make us deeply uncomfortable. And I'm not here to celebrate or condemn. I'm here to hold up a mirror. So let us run back to 1979. Bob Marley towards Japan. Jimmy Cliff's the header. They come is circulating through underground film clubs. Japanese youth living in one of the world's most conformist societies. Here's something that in that bass line, in those lyrics about oppression and spiritual liberation, that speaks to their own suffocation. But here's where Japan did something different from the rest of us. They didn't just consume, they studied, they preserved, and they invested. By the 1980s, Japanese collectors were traveling to Kingston, digging through record shops, buying original vinyl that Jamaicans themselves were throwing away for CDs. They were building sound systems not as party decorations but as a sacred technology. And by 1991, Mighty Crown formed in Yokohama, and they weren't playing around. They learned the craft, selecting, toasting the art of the duplex. They entered international sound clashes, Jamaica's most competitive arena, and they won. By 1999, Mighty Crown won the World Clash. 2002, Junko Kudo, a Japanese woman, won Jamaica's National Dancehall Queen competition. Guys, I want that to sink in. A Japanese woman outdanced Caribbean women in Jamaica at your own cultural competition. The reactions were complicated because here's what's really happening in Jamaica, and it's not a simple story of appropriation or bad appreciation good. There are three forces at play. Number one, deep, respectful engagement. There are these Japanese practitioners who have dedicated their entire lives to understanding reggae and Rastafarism. We are talking about people who learned patois, who built relationships with Jamaican artists, who supported musicians financially when the Caribbean diaspora wouldn't. Mighty Crown didn't just throw on some Bob Marley and call it a day. They organized festivals and employed Jamaican artists, commissioned new plates, created economic opportunities. Some Japanese Rastas even got involved in anti-nuclear activism in Fukushima, connecting Rastafaris and anti-colonial message to their own political struggles. That's not appropriation. That's what global solidarity actually looks like. Number two, subcultural alternative space. Because for many young Japanese people, reggae is not about Jamaica. It's about escaping suffocating Japanese social norms. It's about finding masculinity outside of the salaryman suit. It's about women dancing freely in spaces where traditional Japanese femininity doesn't apply. Sounds familiar? Maybe. That's exactly what reggae did for working class in Jamaica. What hip-hop did for black Americans, what Afrobeat is doing to Nigerian youth and everyone in Africa right now, including myself. Culture travels because it solves problems. The Japanese ain't stealing reggae, they are using it to breathe. Number three, commercial commodification. But this is the ugly part, by the way. Walk through Shibuya and you'll see Rastafari symbols on t-shirts sold by corporations who couldn't tell you who Marcus Garvey was. You will see fashion brands using dreadlocks and red, gold, green aesthetics, choices stripped of all political meaning. You'll see Rastafari, a living religion with anti-colonial pan-African roots reduced into a vibe. And this is where it gets ethically murky, because Rastafari is not public domain. It is not a buffet. It is a faith tradition born from the specific suffering of enslaved Africans and their descendants. When you remove the Ethiopia, remove the repatriation, remove Haile Selassie, remove the sacrament of Kenja, remove the political resistance, what you have left is not Rastafari. It's just a costume. But here's where we need to be honest with ourselves, guys. Why are we angry at Japanese people wearing locks than we are at Caribbean governments that criminalize Rastafari for decades? Why does a Japanese reggae festival bother us more than the fact that most Caribbean youth today would rather listen to Drake than Burning Spear? That is a question that you guys are supposed to ask yourselves. I grew up in Nairobi, Kenya, and my parents' generation had every Bob Marley album. My generation, we clowned anyone who liked old people music. We called roots reggae dusty. We abandoned sound systems culture for bottle service clubs. We let our vinyl collections rot when Japanese collectors were preserving them in climate control rooms. Japan didn't steal Jamaican culture. You guys threw it away and they picked it up. And that's the uncomfortable truth. When Junko won that dancehall competition, the anger wasn't really about her. It was about you yourself seeing your reflection and realizing you failed as custodians of your own heritage. A woman who grew up 6,000 miles from Jamaica cared enough to master an art form that you guys took for granted. So where does this Why do we do this? Do we get keep? Do we say only Jamaicans can perform reggae, only Rastas can wear locks? And that's not culture, how it works. Culture has always traveled, always mixed, always involved. Reggae itself is a fusion: ska, rocksteady, American R&B, African rhythms. But Marley had a white father. Peter Tosh collaborated with Mick Jagger. Or do we appropriate back? Do we suddenly start caring about our culture only when some people else value it? Neither option feels right. And what if the answer is both and? Like, here's what I think Japan can teach you Jamaicans. Respect requires knowledge. The Japanese practitioners who earned respect from Jamaican artists did so by learning. They didn't show up entitled. They studied the history, built relationships, invested time and money. That's the difference between appreciation and appropriation. Like, the depth of engagement. Talk about economic justice, which matters a lot. When mighty crowns bring Jamaican artists to Japan, they pay them, they create opportunities. Compare that to how many Caribbean diaspora events underpay artists or play their music without licensing it. Who is really exploiting who? Religious symbols are not fashion. This is something else, because this is a non-negotiable. Rastafari is a living faith. It symbols the culture, the colors, the sacraments, the references to Selassie need something to actual people who face persecution for their own beliefs. If you're going to engage with Rastafari, engage with actual Rastas, read the theology, understand the history, don't reduce it to an aesthetic. And last, we need to reclaim custodianship, but something which is most important, because we the diaspora need to stop treating our culture like it's embarrassing or outdated. We need to support Caribbean artists, preserve our own vinyl, teach our own children and the history, create our own festivals and institutions, because right now Japan is out caring us, and that should be a wake-up call, not a reason to hate. The Japanese reggae scene is a mirror that we see in it. Appropriation or appreciation, theft or tribute says more about us than them. So here's my challenge. Before you comment about cultural appropriation, ask yourself, what have you done to preserve, support or learn about your own cultural lately? When was the last time you bought a Caribbean artist album instead of streaming it? When did you last attend a live reggae show? When did you teach your kids about Marcus Garvey? Japan didn't take anything from Jamaicans. They showed you what you lost. Now, the question is, are we going to reclaim it or keep arguing online while the world is moving on? Moving on. I want you guys to drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if this makes you uncomfortable, then it's good. I need you to subscribe because we're just getting started. And as always, one love, but love with accountability, just like what Marley said. Let us keep together and feel right. This is Abantu Marshall from the motherland, Africa, Kenya, the land of Simba. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.